Oh, there we go. All right. We are the Real Movie Duels podcast. This is our take 2 because our take 1 didn't record. Oh, wait, I shouldn't have said that. Anyway, I'm Drew.
And I'm Nick.
And we get together as often as we can, and we do a real movie duel. So we basically pick 2 movies, and we pit them against each other and decide which one wins the cage match.
To the death.
To the death.
One of them we'll never watch again.
One movie standing. Right?
Sure.
When you say it like that, it makes my decision seem that much more important.
I know. Yeah.
Like,
you really got to think about it.
I can't ever watch the other one again.
I know.
That's
brutal.
That is brutal. I have to rethink my choices. But anyway, so this episode we're going to do National Lampoon's Vacation against The Great Outdoors.
Yes.
So basically Chevy Chase versus...
Both of them written by John Hughes.
Yes. Did you know that going in?
I did not know that going in.
It was interesting. I picked that up as
Neither one of them directed by him, but they were both written by him.
Correct. So... once I realized that, I saw some interesting little similarities.
Yeah, me too.
It's like, dude, he's using the same jokes for both movies.
Sort of.
Kind of. But anyway, so which should we start with? We should probably start with Vacation because you're doing the synopsis on that one, right?
Sure.
All right. Hold on a second. It is still recording. Okay, we're still good. All right.
There you go. Keep the change. Okay. Now, you see which way you're pointing, right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Cause you see that place? Yeah. You see where it say Rib Tip? Rib Tip. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, fuck that. You don't want to go that way.
What if these guys know the Commodores?
You're gonna go all the way down about half a block, and you'll see a Torino with no wheels on it. Now, inside that Torino is my cousin, Jack. Now, you tell him you my boy and that you lost, and he'll make sure you get the way you're going, because you don't want to know from me, man. This ain't even my neighborhood. I'm from the west side of Chicago, here on vacation.
Thanks a lot. You've been a great help.
All right, so Nick is going to regale us with the synopsis of National Lampoon's Vacation. Yes.
Okay, so National Lampoon's Vacation.
That is it.
The 1983 classic.
Sounds about right, yeah.
So Chevy Chase plays Clark Griswold. He's like the patriarch of this family. Works all the time. He doesn't get to spend time with his kids.
Poor guy.
So they're going to take a vacation. They're going to go across the country. They live up by Chicago, I think.
That's right.
And they're going to drive all the way to California to go to Wally World, which is like the big family thing everybody wants to go to. Well,
just let me stop you for 1 second. What do you think of that scene where he's planning the trip and it shows his little car going and the kids are somehow reprogramming the little program on the fly, making it eat the car and stuff? Because that's how computers work.
Yeah, especially in the 80s, right?
Yeah,
because it was so easy to program back then.
Right. Yeah, I was always making my Atari 2600 do things that the games weren't programmed to do.
Yeah, that was an old, I don't even know what kind of, Tandy maybe?
Yeah, Tandy. Yeah, that's exactly how they worked back then. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
So he's planning this cross-country trip. He buys a new vehicle. He doesn't even get the vehicle he's supposed to get to begin with because the salesman...
Yeah, the salesman was a guy from American Pie,
wasn't he? The dad from American Pie.
It's awesome.
And so he ends up with this classic... station wagon,
yes.
green and wood.
Not the, what did he want, the Cruiser or something?
Yeah, I don't even remember.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not what he ordered, but he goes in and takes it anyways because it's Clark Griswold. And
well, they wrecked his other car. Within 5 minutes of him trading it in, they've demolished it. It's really? How does that work?
And so it's him and his wife and his 2 kids, Rusty and Audrey, which they're both, I don't know, maybe close to teenage years at least. The girl's probably a teenager.
Well, which one's older?
I think the girl.
Really? I always thought the boy was older.
Really?
But I don't know. They are oddly close in age, though,
They
right?
are oddly close in age. They're one of those 11 months apart type thing, maybe.
Must be.
So Clark is the only one that's really excited for this trip. Everybody else wants to fly, or the wife wants to fly out there. She doesn't want to drive all the way. And the kids just want to go do something fun. They don't really care about driving across the country and doing all this. And they're, but Clark is dead set. This is what they're doing. they're driving across the country. They're going to Wally World. They're making all these little stops all over the place.
Visit family, right?
To see, like, the biggest ball of twine.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
just all kinds of sightseeing stuff he has planned.
Yes.
So, they get going, and they start running into some problems. And they go and visit her cousin, Eddie.
Yes.
And
No, it's her. The girl's her cousin, right? The
okay.
one.
So the wife is the cousin.
Yeah.
But Eddie's the one that's
Uncle Eddie.
Uncle Eddie.
Yep.
And so I don't know.
Uncle Eddie's awesome. He is kind of the highlight of the movie in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And it's played by
I like when they
Randy
went to,
Quaid.
Yeah, I like when they went to St. Louis and they're like getting directions and they're like stealing all their hubcaps.
Oh yeah, they end up in East St. Louis in a bad neighborhood.
That was awesome. I love that guy giving the directions. He's like, $5. He's like, okay, here's the 10. Just keep the change. He's like, so here's what you get. No, go down to this El Torino. My cousin, my buddy is in there. He'll give you directions. I'm not even from here.
So pretty much everywhere they go, they run into some kind of problem with,
of course,
with money and with. He ends up giving his cousin a bunch of money because he's begging him for money, and
yes,
I didn't remember how like morose some of this stuff was in that. Like when they drag the dog behind.
Oh yeah,
and they bring the aunt with them after they leave the cousins, and she ends up dying. They just leave her
on the hood of the car and then on the lawn of the guys, which sounds weird because like she's like, well, he's supposed to be here. Like they're gonna drop her off, and they can't get in the house.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, if she was alive, what were they gonna do?
Yeah, just leave her there anyway. That's probably.
I don't know.
So I don't know. I mean, it didn't change their game plan much, but they just leave her with a note for the son of the dead aunt.
Yes, that was nice.
But everywhere they go, they run into these little adventures, and they finally make it to Wally World after everything. Like the car gets destroyed, and they run out of all their money, and the kids are like ready to go back halfway through it, and
well, that's the other thing. So the car wreck. Okay, so this car goes flying over and wrecks, right?
Yeah.
And then they go and get it repaired. First of all, there's no way they did that much repair. Like the engine is almost out of the car,
right?
And these guys, and he's like, "What am I paying you for? All you did was put 4-ball tires in and do like an alignment or something." It's like, no, dude, that car was trashed. Yeah. I don't even think they could have fixed it.
It's a comedy.
I know. You're not supposed to think about
suspension
that
of disbelief.
Yes, I suppose.
But anyways, after everything, they finally make it to Wally World, and it's closed. It's closed for renovations for like 2 weeks, and Clark loses his crap and basically goes ape crap on the
poor John Candy.
The security guard there, and holds him at gunpoint, even though it's not a real gun. We find out later, but
it's a BB gun.
Makes him let his family go on all the rides, and then the owner and the SWAT team and everybody shows up, and they end up being okay. But
yes, because when Wally World, gets held up, they call Roy Wally or whatever to come
the
check
owner
it out.
to come reason with the people and ask them why,
Correct.
What's going on. But all in all, it's a pretty fun movie. Like they get into a lot of shenanigans along the way.
There's some pretty classic scenes in it, I would say.
Chevy Chase.
Yeah, one of my problems with his character, he's such a bumbling buffoon. Like, he's like, I know.
I feel like that's him in real life too, though.
It could be, yeah. But I mean,
I feel like that's not too big of a stretch. Like most of his characters are that way. Like.
He's like the worst dad ever. I don't know. He's just not very. He's not very with him.
He's very self-motivated. Like he wants to do it for him, not for.
Correct.
Because this is his plan. He doesn't really care if anybody else is having fun.
This is true.
And I always thought like the Christy Brinkley thing. So this lady keeps showing up like throughout the trip and like flirting with him and stuff like that. I always thought that was kind of like a dream sequence. Like
it almost comes across like that, but
then
she's
like
real.
Yeah, they like find him in the pool with her. So
yeah.
It's like a real thing.
Yeah, very, very strange. But
But it's just like a zany old comedy.
Yeah. No, I love the Uncle Eddie stuff. Like, that's some of my favorite. Like, I quote those lines even today. Like, hamburger helper, I think it tastes pretty good all by itself, or whatever, you know? Or, like, or the one kid's asking another kid if he has, like, any video games. Do you have asteroids? No, but sometimes my dad has them so bad that you can't even sit down.
And then he's like, and he asks him if he has something. He's like, no, but I got a stack of porno mags. And so, like, the boys just go in there and start looking at all those magazines.
Yeah.
And the girls are, like, smoking pot. And...
Correct. Yeah. So, it's... Yeah, I like Uncle Eddie. If Christmas Vacation had never come out, you know, National Lampoon's Vacation would be the movie, like...
Right.
Would be the best of them, I think. But I think Christmas Vacation is better.
I don't know. I haven't seen Christmas Vacation in a long time either.
We watch it like every year.
And I don't think I've ever seen Vegas Vacation.
Really?
I don't think so.
It's not great.
Maybe I've seen part of it.
It's better than European Vacation, which isn't saying much.
I have seen that.
But the Vegas Vacation is worth sitting through at least once or twice. We went to Vegas last year, and then we had to watch Vegas Vacation when we got back, you know, because it was kind of like, hey, I know that place, I know that place.
Makes sense.
But even that's pretty old now, and so you watch it, and like even Vegas doesn't even look like it does in that movie anymore. So, yeah. All right, so that is.
I'm afraid I'm gonna need a little more than that, sir.
Okie dokie. How's it?
Clark, have you lost your mind? Where did you get that?
Sporting goods store, honey. Now,
The whole week you'll be here. Okay. Oh, wow. Just something.
so anyway, you're an intelligent man. Thank you. Make a good living? Not bad. Get a good life? Pretty good. Answer me one question.
Sure.
Why the hell would you want to come up to a plant-infested no-man's land like this and live like a barbarian for a week?
All right, so then we did The Great Outdoors. Actually, I watched Great Outdoors first.
I did as well.
Well, there you go. All right, so The Great Outdoors is another family vacation type show. So John Candy is your typical dad. He has 2 sons and a wife, and they're going up to some cabin that he used to visit when he was a kid. And so he's got this grand plan that this is going to be, like, great. He's going to bond with his kids the way that his dad bonded with him. They're going to, like, go fishing and, you know, do the rowboat, do all the kind of outdoorsy, great outdoors type stuff, you know, because they live in the city, you know. I think they're from Chicago as well, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. It's funny. John Hughes must have been like a Chicago guy. Because isn't Breakfast Club set in Chicago as well?
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, it's all about Chicago with John Hughes. But anyway, so he goes there and, you know, they arrive and it's as he imagined or whatever. Well, then his wife's sister and her husband and their 2 twin daughters just show up and crash the vacation, like, to surprise them.
Yeah.
And the brother-in-law is Dan Aykroyd, who plays the most obnoxious, like, loudmouth, kind of full of crap, you know, guy that everybody hates. Like, that guy who knows everything and is, like, really jerky to everybody. Kind
He's
of
rich and he has everything.
Rich, has everything, yeah. Correct. And so he shows up and it's really an awkward scene. Like, he's got the kids off, like, down the lake, so he's, like, making moves on the wife, and so that scene's really awkward. Like, so they're, like, I mean, he's got, like, his wife's, like, bra off, and they're, like, really starting to make out. And then Dan Aykroyd comes in with the camera, with the video camera, and he's filming them, and they're, like, going on for, like, a few minutes while he keeps filming. I'm like,
with their
really?
2 little girls.
Yeah, it's like, this is a little awkward. They're even doing, like, weird role-playing and stuff, and Dan Aykroyd's, and, like, you know, making fun of him, like... Wow, that's a great way to start. But anyway, so they show up, and, you know, of course, Dan Aykroyd feels like he's there, and he's the one bringing the fun, and they should be thankful that he's there to, like, you know, he keeps making comments like, if it wasn't for me, you guys wouldn't be having any fun, you know?
Right.
And, of course, John Candy wants to be more of, like, a kind of old-school, relaxing, and, of course, Dan Aykroyd wants to get, like, the power boat and do the go-karts, you know, do all the kind of cool, like, new stuff.
When he first shows up, he says they're having hot dogs.
Yeah.
So that's what John Candy's big plan is. He's going to go do hot dogs on the grill. And Dan Aykroyd is not having it. He's like, no, we're having lobster.
Yeah,
blah,
lobster.
blah, blah. Like,
yeah.
That's how it starts out.
And then for some reason, that line always stuck in my head too, where Dan Aykroyd's like, hot dogs, you know what they're made out of? Lips and assholes, or whatever. Like, I mean,
that joke keeps going throughout the movie, too. The raccoons that keep talking and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, so that's kind of how it goes. So then, there's this weird subplot with the oldest boy of John Candy's boy is like in town and meets some girl and they start like a romance, which is like totally extraneous to the movie whatsoever.
Right. And it's weird too. Like, she's like, well, I don't get involved with people because you're just going to leave in a couple weeks.
Of course he is. He's on vacation.
And she knows that he's going to leave and she still gets involved with him anyways.
I
She
know.
does the exact same thing she says she's not going to do.
Correct.
So.
But anyway, so there's that subplot, and then so basically it's just once again it's this vacation. Everything goes wrong. I mean, they have to do the skiing, and of course John Candy is like showing his son how to ski, and then they think that he wants to ski, so he's skiing, and I don't know. Whenever I think he skied before, right? Because he's showing the son how to ski.
Right.
The first time I ever tried to water ski, which I've never actually successfully water skied, but even when I was trying, they said at any point if you get in trouble, just let go.
And he even tells his son.
He even tells his son that.
Right.
And so then we have like a 5-minute sequence of him being dragged around the lake through all sorts of hazards, not letting go.
Right.
It's like, I mean, I understand like maybe the first couple times you might not let go, but after like 5 minutes you would just let go.
I think it would. It's the humor of pulling a 300-pound man
I guess,
on one ski for a while.
Correct. And then it's funny because, like, you don't always notice, I don't always think about stuff like this when you watch a movie over and over. Like, some of the stunts, like, you see John Candy doing this stuff, you're like, that's not John Candy. Because the camera's, like, all zoomed out.
Exactly.
You're like, that's a stunt, man. And I don't usually
It's
notice.
still a big guy, though. Like, you gotta be a big guy to, like, be John Candy.
He probably had, like, a fat
Fat
suit or something. Yeah.
Got, like,
I'm guessing.
the Nutty Professor suit on.
Exactly. I think that's what it was. But anyway, so what else happens in that movie? So, yeah. Oh, and then there's the whole thing where they go to like eat at the restaurant and there's like a 92-ounce steak.
Old
and if
96er.
The old 96er. And if you eat the steak, you eat free. And Dan Aykroyd, who has all this money, he's like, oh yeah, you should have that. And then he's like, basically force feeding him the last few bites or whatever.
And the cook is like, all that's left on the, or no, he goes, all that's left on that plate is gristle and fat. And
The cook's like, yep. He's like, oh no. And then
it's like, if I get him to choke it down, he throw in some hats for the kids or something like that.
Correct. So the main theme of the movie is like, the father figure. John Candy's actually a pretty good father. Like from what you see in the movie,
Right.
like he seems like he's a good guy. He cares about his family, he cares about his kids. He tries to be a good role model, Whereas Dan Aykroyd is the typical guy who works all the time, and has no relationship with his kids or whatever, There's also this weird thing about this bear. Like John Candy tells a scary story early in the movie about this when apparently him and his wife went up there on their honeymoon and there was a bear that like almost attacked them and they had to like shoot at it and like shave its head or whatever because the buckshot just like shaved its head, And of course, at the end of the movie, there's the plot with like the girls like run off. There's like a rainstorm. They run off and get buried in some mine. Because that's when it's a rain. You like run off and go into like some abandoned mine.
Well, they got in trouble earlier in the movie for being down in that mine too.
Correct.
So
but I mean, when it's storming, it just seemed an odd.
It seems like they would like put barricades or something in front of it too. Like,
right. Yeah.
Like you have a bunch of kids running around. You have
Correct.
an abandoned mine shaft.
And of course, there's tons of wet dynamite down there. Because that's what would be down there.
Of course.
But anyway, so there's like a whole thing where they have to go rescue the girls. And of course, Dan Aykroyd has to step up and be, the father to his girls and kind of help that relationship. And of course, the bear obviously comes back, that he was telling the story about. And
before all that happened, you find out that Dan Aykroyd is actually full of crap, too.
Oh, yeah. So it turns out Dan Aykroyd is full of crap in that Well, no, first you find out that he claims that he came to give John Candy this investment opportunity because Dan Aykroyd is this like Wall Street banker type investor guy. And, he kind of cons John Candy out of giving him like $15,000 or something, which in 1980 for a middle class family, that was probably a pretty good chunk of change. And so like he gets it from him, tells him a story about how he was a jerk to him earlier and makes him feel bad. And so he gives him the money. And so they all go. So Dan Aykroyd's, driving back and then he has a pang of conscience or whatever, has to turn around and say no.
Well, the wife is sitting there telling him how, proud she was of him for bringing him in on that, for bringing John Candy in on that deal. And
correct.
Because that's a lot of money for them and
exactly.
blah, blah, blah.
And so he feels bad, so he turns around and goes back and says, I was actually conning you. And he tells his wife, we're poor, we're living beyond our means. I lost my trading seat and I'm basically, running coffee and stuff and, blah, blah, blah. Our whole life is a lie. And then the girls go away and then they have to come together and rescue them. And the bear shows back up and attacks the family. They have to fight it off. And of course, some guy come. Why do you have to plug in the lamp to shoot a gun? I never understood that.
Because it was a gun lamp.
It was a gun lamp, so apparently for it to fire, it has to be plugged in. Anyway, so they shoot at the bear, and of course,
guy that owns the cabin.
Instead of shaving the head, it shaves his butt, and so it's like this bare-butted bear.
And it runs off.
And it runs off, whimpering, which is a very fake whimper. It's not a whimper of a bear. So is that a real bear?
How do you know? Maybe it
or was it a guy in a suit?
Maybe it is a whimper in a bear. It looked like a real bear.
It looked like a real bear to me, too.
For most of it. I mean,
correct.
Sure,
there were price sequences. But yeah. Anyway, so that's the great outdoors. I enjoy the great outdoors. Like, I mean, like I said, when you compare the two dads, like, I like the John Candy dad so much better than the Chevy Chase dad.
Sure.
You know? But let's talk about the weird subplot with the son and the girl.
Okay.
That whole thing is weird, too, okay? Yeah. Like, it's really awkward. All right, and this. So, first of all, have you ever played pool?
And it really doesn't flow. It just kind of feels like they
feels tacked on.
They're like, well, the older kid, he would probably be doing something different, so we got to give him something. Like,
yeah, but like the younger kids have nothing to do other than get lost at the end.
Right.
But yeah, so he makes this. He's at a pool hall with the brother, and I've played pool. If there's an attractive girl like at a table next to you, you're not going to forget she's there and like accidentally goose her with your pool stick. I'm sorry, it just doesn't happen. I mean, you're going to be aware of her being
not
there.
Accidentally.
Correct, exactly, and be surprised. You know, and so he chases after her, and they like talk, and she said, like you said, she said, "Oh, I'm not going to get involved with you. You're going to leave." You know, it's like, well, yes, he's going to leave. He's here on vacation, obviously. Huh. I mean, and so anyway, so they get romantically involved, and then she gets mad at him because he's out to dinner at that, and his dad's eating that old 96er, and so he says he's going to meet her, and she's like, "Don't stand me up," and it's like he's got anything else to do in this town, like he's going to stand her up, and so he's late, and then she's mad at him. It's like, well, he's at dinner with his family. What was he supposed to do? Just say, "Oh, I got to go."
But then she makes up with him at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he goes away, and
then he goes away anyway. Exactly.
So it's just kind of like a pointless.
It's almost like John Hughes said, we need to have something for the teenagers to relate to,
right.
You know? So let's throw in this. And for John Hughes, who's usually pretty good at writing teenagers, it was pretty crappy.
Yeah.
As far as the writing goes.
At least that part of it.
Yeah, that part of it, yeah. So, anyway, that's Great Outdoors.
Big bear.
No, true. Out there.
We're glad you're home, honey.
Big bear, chase. Big bear, chase.
What is he saying?
What? Big bear, chase me.
All right, so we've explained both the movies, how they kind of flowed, some of our thoughts on it. So we're going to rate each one in these different categories. And they're going to be different depending on the movies. Because we kind of felt like for a comedy like this, cinematography really wasn't that important, you know?
Cinematography is always important.
Maybe.
I'm just kidding.
Anyway, so acting. So as far as the performances, which did you think had better performances?
I felt like they're pretty similar. I mean, I felt like both of them had pretty decent acting. I think Chevy Chase does all right. I think the wife does all right in that. The kids do okay.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe Lampoon has a slight edge in the acting.
I think I would agree with you there. I think National Lampoon's Vacation had slightly better acting. It had better character actors, maybe.
It's a much smaller cast, too, though, I feel like. As far as, like, the main cast.
Right. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, like, even some of the bit characters, like the guy from American Pie who sold him the car, I mean, he did a really good job, you know, and...
Yeah.
You know, the grandma in Vacation was pretty good. Some of the bit... Like, even the kids in... Vacation were a lot better than I thought the kids in.
True. Yeah, that's what I was going off of, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought John Candy and Dan Aykroyd did fine.
Good. Yeah,
and
but...
the wives did fine. But as far as the kids and some of the, like, outside, like you said, the bit characters or whatever.
But yeah, I think Vacation had a little bit better acting. And also, you know, Cousin Eddie, I thought he, you know, obviously is I really like Cousin Eddie. I don't know if you've grasped that yet, but I'm a big fan.
Are you a Cousin Eddie fan?
I'm a huge fan. So.
Did you know that guy is like crazy now?
Yeah, like he thinks the government's like after him. Didn't he go to Canada and like did like a weird video about how they were chasing him?
Wears tinfoil hats.
And wasn't he like living in somebody's like abandoned house or something, like squatting or something?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he's totally off his rocker.
So it's not too far out of character for him to play Cousin Eddie.
Not too bad.
Yeah. What about writing?
Writing.
Story.
I don't know. I mean, I think Great Outdoors maybe has the edge for me, just because it's got a little more twists and turns, a little more going on. Whereas Vacation, I mean, it's basically just road trip, bit after bit.
Yeah, string after string. Whereas there's a little more continuity in the Great Outdoors.
Yeah, I
story.
felt the story had a little, and also I felt like the story was a little more, and maybe this ties in more to character development. I thought the story had more of a theme and kind of like a resolution. You know what I mean? Like I thought the characters actually kind of like evolved and made changes and kind of something happened. You know what I mean? Like the movie. Whereas in Vacation, I felt like at the end of the movie, everybody's the same. Like nobody learned a lesson.
Right.
Nobody gained anything from this experience.
Yeah, they just held up a place and like
and got away with it.
Yeah.
I mean, so from that standpoint, I thought the. And as far as the jokes go, I mean, we'll get into the next category too. But yeah, I don't know.
Which movie's funnier for you?
Yeah, so comedy value. Which one had the higher comedy value? I'd probably have to give it. I know these are comedies. I'd probably have to give the edge to Vacation. I felt like it had a slightly funnier. Both movies had odd, awkward areas. You know what I mean? Like that were awkward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there was, like you said, like Vacation has some weird, like morose type stuff, like where the dog dies or where the aunt's like very morbid. For like a funny movie. But I thought overall, I think Vacation is funnier than Great Outdoors.
For me, I feel like Great Outdoors is funnier.
Do you?
I enjoy John Candy so much, though. Like, just his expressions and his facial, like, when he's telling his story to the kids and...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like John Candy a lot, too. I mean, he's definitely...
I think Chevy Chase is funny, but I just don't...
He's always the same,
his
though.
humor
John
is-
Candy's kind of the same, too, but I feel like John Candy is funnier than Chevy Chase. In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I don't consider Chevy Chase a really funny guy for the most part. I mean, he's more like the bumbling kind of thing,
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
What else we got?
So, character development, which is kind of what I said.
went already over the...
We kind of did. I felt there was way more character development in Great Outdoors. Like,
I agree with that.
and I like the characters better. Like, in Vacation, like, none of the main characters are really that likable.
It's true.
I mean...
Like, the wife is alright.
She's okay, but even she's kind of annoying sometimes. And the kids are kind of just brats and are kind of obnoxious.
It's true.
And whiners. And I mean, I thought the characters in Great Outdoors were a lot more likable. So I feel like Vacation's a much darker movie than Great Outdoors in a lot of ways.
There's definitely spots. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's kind of where based on all that, I mean... You go first. What do you think?
Overall?
Yep.
My winner?
Your winner.
My winner for best comedy of these two is The Great Outdoors. Like I said, John Candy for me is just funny. Like, I love to watch him. It's improv, everything. And Chevy Chase is more, like you said, like the bumbling, like, and he's kind of a jerk in that movie, like, to his kids. And, like, I mean, it is funny in spots. Like, there's definitely a lot of stuff that I laughed at, but The Great Outdoors for me, it wins for me.
I think we're going to agree because I'm going to go with The Great Outdoors too. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I think Vacation is actually funnier, but I like Great Outdoors more because I like the character of John Candy. Like I say, I don't like Clark Griswold in that movie. He's a dick. I mean, he is. He's like trying to like, he wants his family to go on the vacation and he's flirting with Christy Brinkley all the time. I mean, he's just like this typical like
Who's a bigger
guy.
dick? Clark Griswold or Roman from...
Roman, totally, but at least you have a contrast or someone to kind of contrast against. Like John Candy's this kind of a good guy, and yet, Roman's a jerk. But then in Vacation, everybody's kind of a
Which
jerk.
is Dan Aykroyd's character, Roman, by the way, in Great Outdoors.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, Great Outdoors, it may not be quite as funny. Like I like Cousin Eddie. I'm going to go back to it. I mean, but he's only in it for like 5 minutes, right?
If Cousin Eddie
If it was
in The Great Outdoors...
We'd be there.
But
I really like Cousin Eddie's sequence in Vacation. And I like a few of the sequences in Vacation a little bit better, like they're funnier. But overall, I just like the characters. I like the story better in Great Outdoors, even though Vacation is maybe a little bit funnier.
So we've agreed both times so far.
We agreed last time, too.
Yeah. Alien.
Oh, no. See, last time we were going to do Lethal Weapon versus 48 Hours.
Which we still could potentially do in the future.
We could, but you didn't get through 48 Hours.
Right.
I think we might have disagreed on that one.
I don't know.
That was a tight race.
It's been a long time since I've seen 48 Hours.
But yeah, we agree again. That's interesting. I really felt like Vacation was going to easily win this, but then when I thought about it more,
I felt like for sure you were going to say Vacation.
I'm really torn. Like, I think this is a good thing because, like I said, I think Vacation is funnier, but I do like, even though Great Outdoors is cornier in some ways, I kind of like that it's kind of lighter and has more redeeming characters. Whereas Vacation, it's kind of morbid in parts, and it's funnier, but it's also darker. And
like, going into it, I kind of already knew. Like,
did you?
Like, Great Outdoors for me, I loved that movie, especially like when I was younger.
See, Vacation is one of my wife's favorite movies, and I like it quite a bit too because we watch it more frequently.
Oh,
it's
a good movie.
And I really thought I was going to pick Vacation, but the more
I
thought
really thought you were going to pick Vacation.
But the more I thought about it, I mean, it could probably go either way, but the more I thought about it, I'm like,
nope, you can never watch it again.
I know, I got to watch
It's gone.
Great Outdoors.
It's off the list.
My wife will be very sad.
She'll have to watch it alone now.
Exactly. But if she was here, she would totally pick Vacation. So
we should make her watch them both.
She did. She watched both of them with me.
Oh, where's she at?
I don't know, she just poked her head around the corner like she was going to. Maybe she wants to chime in. Hey, Christy. Come chime in. All right, well, she chose not to partake, I guess. So.
I guess you're just stuck with us.
Yep. So anyway, Great Outdoors is the winner.
It's unanimous.
Sorry,
Christy.
Sorry, Christy. All right. We will continue to hopefully do this. We already have our movies picked for our next episode.
We shouldn't announce it.
I won't say what they are.
Okay.
You have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But we haven't picked.
Wait and see.
We have a path to see them both.
And
they're both accessible.
I like both of these movies.
And Nick likes both of them.
One of them I haven't seen for quite a while.
Yeah.
But one of them I really, really, really like.
So it'll be interesting to see. I like both of them, but I don't know which one I'm going to
And they're both kind of obscure, too, I feel like. I feel like they're not, like, mainstream, like,
Correct.
Everybody's like, oh, yeah, these are really good movies.
Correct. They're a little more off the beaten path.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited for this one.
Cool. We're going to do it. But also, even though we have our next one decided, we plan to keep doing this. So if you have suggestions, shoot them our way. I think through the Anchor app, you can actually send, like, stuff. But we're going to put it on YouTube, too, so you can watch it on there. And then you can make comments and stuff.
Subscribe.
Like, subscribe.
All that.
All that good stuff.
Comment whatever you want.
Correct.
Tell us how terrible we are.
We know we're terrible, but, tell us how terrible we are.
On a scale. Oh, yeah. We have to do the scale.
Oh, we do a scale?
Yeah.
What's our scale?
So what would you rate this movie as far as, like, would you recommend it for Netflix or matinee or a full-price night movie or, like, IMAX? Or not at all. You wouldn't recommend it.
I think they're both full price night movies for me. But I have nostalgia value, obviously.
Full price. I think they're both matinee movies. Like they're the feel good movies. Like you would take the.
Sure.
Yeah,
it's probably not your big like event movie or whatever. So maybe it is a matinee. But I'm gonna stick with my initial thing. I'm not gonna be swayed. I'm gonna say they're both full price evening movies. Okay. Just because to me they're classics and they kind of have that.
I mean, they're both worth watching if you haven't seen them. But
yeah.
After we've given our terrible explanations of them.
Correct.
You can see how funny they really are.
Exactly. Cousin Eddie, I'm telling you, that's where it's at.
For the win.
For 5 minutes.
And the old 96.
If it was the 5 minutes of Cousin Eddie versus Great Outdoors, Vacation would win. But Vacation has a lot of other stuff in it that's not as good as Cousin Eddie.
The Great Outdoors, the old 96er is my favorite scene.
Is that really?
Yeah. Like I say that sometimes. I'll be like, all that's left on that plate is Griswold's fish.
I love how the chef has all bloody apron, like he just massacred the cow.
He's just like standing over him.
I don't think that's how chefs work. I think the meat comes slaughtered already. I could be wrong.
I don't know why I love that scene so much, but it is my favorite.
It's good to know.
It's better than Cousin Eddie to me.
Next, we'll have to do 2 John Candy movies, like Summer Rental and another, like...
I don't know if I've ever seen Summer Rental.
Uncle Buck or something.
Oh, Uncle Buck's good.
Mm-hmm.
Or Delirious.
That's not good at all.
It's Summer Rental?
Is John Candy
Is Summer Rental?
Summer Rental's better than Delirious.
Oh.
Is John Candy in Delirious?
Yeah.
I thought that was a Dan Aykroyd movie.
No.
Are they both in that one too?
Well, I don't know, but I know it's a John Candy movie.
Okay.
He's like the main guy.
Yeah. What was that one, Harry Crumb? We could do Harry Crumb versus Summer Rental. Because neither one of those
is
very good.
It will lose no matter what it's against.
Correct. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Tell your friends.
Yeah.
Share it on Facebook.
Peace out.
Like it on YouTube. Subscribe. It's all good. Peace out.
Later.
Bye.
The podcast you just heard was published with Anchor. Got something you want to say to the creator of this show? Send them a voice message using the Anchor app, free for iOS and Android.